Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Sailing. I am a beast, my sister four emperors Linlin. Chapter 21. The female warriors of Nine Snake Island were also stunned, and even a little confused about the situation. Who is this stranger? Outside pirates? Are you here to help them? Or a man? Most of them, the Nine Snake female warriors, have never had contact with men, and now they look at Asa below. Especially in this time of crisis. Whether it was intentional or not, they all helped, which caused everyone to have inexplicable emotions. Yes, thank you. No, it's not true, it's hard to say. Minutes ago, Nine Snake Island Virgin Forest, when Charlotte Linlin followed the location of the treasure map and came to the location. It was found that there are 3 CP0s, which have been dug out in advance. This is super famous Sword Emperor sword. If it is sold on the black market, can it be sold for a few $100 million or $1 billion? It's priceless and no one is going to sell it. Buried in the Amazon lily, I don't know what it means. Could it be used by the Empress of Nine Snake Island? It's several meters, how big is it? No matter how upgraded human beings are, they can't be upgraded to that level. HMPH, who knows? Not necessarily, don't you remember, we almost bought Charlotte Linlin once. She. Quote. Just when they were about to take it out, a huge shadow suddenly shrouded behind them. In terms of proportion, he is actually ruthless and slim. It's just too big. Buy me, Linlin's cold voice suddenly said. What did you mean by what you just said? She didn't know what happened back then. Also, Asa didn't say anything about the disappearance of the nun and the cause of her death, but she has always chosen to believe in her brother. No matter what. Hey. Hello, what a coincidence. The 3 white-clothed masked CP0 turned around, raised their eyelids, and each took a step back. You are Charlotte Linlin, you are so old. Do you want to know what happened back then? Uncles can sue. The voices of a few people have not yet fallen. A huge fist has already smashed down. Immediately, 2 CP0s were hit, a mouthful of blood was spilled, several trees were smashed, and there was no sound. Uncle, I only have an older brother. Linlin suddenly lost interest. She doesn't worry about other people's words. My brother taught me that there are many liars in this world, and there are also many people who sow discord. CP0. He is a running dog of the government, and he cannot believe a word. There is only one person left, seeing this strange power. I was surprised and delighted. It's a pity that such talents were not recruited in the first place. After the surprise, the scalp was numb. So Linlin's sight was unobstructed, and when he saw the giant sword stored in the giant box, he was attracted and ignored him. Emperor sword, slender, beautiful, hockey. Just a glance. A good impression arose from the bottom of my heart, which completely conformed to Linlin's imagination. Napoleon, she took out her own soul fragments and the new soul assembled by her brother. The two go together. Injected into the Emperor's sword, in the stun of CP0, a more powerful Homets was configured. Yes, Mom. Any orders? The shiny sword body began to anthropomorphize, with giant eyes, shut up, and a mouth. Vivid. All the facial features are in place. Mother. It stands upright, one vacates, and says, try it, you won't be disappointed. Linlin held it in his hand. Just the tactile sensation beats all the famous knives I have ever used. The gap with other knives can be said to be the difference between clouds and mud. Refer to Zorro. When he got Yanmo, he played a special role, sucked away hockey, and with a random wave, the corner of the cliff was cut off. Napoleon will only exaggerate more. And forged into a black knife. The power can go up a notch. What other knives don't have? Self-awareness. Various forms. Stretch, bend, straighten, change hats, put it in fantasy, that is the sword spirit. Always be loyal, even if someone else snatched it. It doesn't work either. Not only that, this is a qualitative change of Homets. My brother said, the blade itself can eat fruit. Tie pants are spicy. Linlin is in a very happy mood. I really want to share the good news with my brother immediately. Sure enough, it is the fruit ability of the Carmelites. The forehead of the last CP0 was dripping with cold sweat. The level of development, I don't know how many blocks I have dumped her. If it continues to develop, it will definitely be a disaster. No, If you can't get it, then you can't keep it. Try a sneak attack. Single quote. He jumped up. With the Tempest kick, he kicked Linlin hard, but with a dwang sound. This girl seemed like a mountain. Body motionless. Instead, his feet felt a deep numbness. It was obviously hardened with armed color. Kicked a hard pimple. Only, when he realized now that there was a huge difference in strength between the two, it was already too late. Try it and die. Linlin looked back, and after a few seconds, everything was quiet. Boom. The port is shaking. Linlin, who was not enjoying himself, quickly looked over there and found a vent. Is it my brother? Boom. After the blow of the two. On the training ship, the aftermath of the hockey collision instantly blows up all the Marines on board. Even the boat itself sank several water levels due to the huge force, and the height of the splashed seawater was more frightening than the waterfall. Clatter. A large wave of water floated in the air, and finally turned into water droplets, which fell to the deck. Crack. And this collision, it also caused the whole ship to crack, and Ace's legs also fell into the thick deck. Only, strong is strong, but Asa was a little suspicious. Is it really Admiral? Above, Natalie, the silver wolf who fell into the air, didn't know if she heard it. Her chest heaved violently. But soon, she stayed in midair with a moonwalk, stopped the decline, and free-falled back to the high cliff of Nine Snake Island. Cover the severed arm. There was no such easy and freehand expression on the old face. Good. Very good. It turned out to be a super big fish. You can continue to use this level of hockey. Let the old woman see how long you can consume it. Natalie's whole body softened, but her mouth was still stiff. But she does have some skills. With a slip of his left hand, the severed arm was covered with ice, and the bleeding stopped instantly. So, have you ever been an admiral? If not, I can let you order. After all, pirates also respect the old and love the young. Asa started to step forward. What is he most lacking? Naturally, it is physical strength, so edible at ordinary times, but when it is critical. The belly is his source of motivation. That blow. How about a few hundred or a few thousand times? What really surprised Asa was the strength of this woman. Estimate, the weakest of the past 3 admirals. It's normal for women. In addition, the impact of aging is at most 70% to 80%. Aging affects combat power. Definitely. Referring to later Rayleigh, Sabayati once sighed. When Whitebeard hit the top, Akainu also said that the world is the strongest, and it will not be able to resist the erosion of time. And the controversial marine hero. A piece of cold knowledge. Garp will not affect his strength because of his age. In fact, this is a rumor and misunderstanding. Capital of 7 waters. Beehive Island. More than once, Garp felt that he was getting old, and it was inevitable to regress. In fact, it is scary enough to regress. Aokiji was hammered on the Hive Island, even though Aokiji didn't take it seriously. But Garp, what if you were young? That combat power is absolutely unimaginably terrifying, and Rox, who is even more terrifying than him. Not to mention, in this comparison, I'm still too weak. Asa shook her head, feeling that you are not enough, not enough. Hit an old admiral with only 70 to 80%, it's all like this. How to get to the top? Guard little sister. In an increasingly violent era, how do you control the ever-growing nations? You have to keep devouring, the more the better. It would be great if this woman was stronger, the greater the promotion and help she would give him. Imp, you think this is my limit? Above, seeing Ace's expression, Silver Wolf Admiral couldn't hold back at all, and obviously hit her hard with one blow. Still like Versailles, she sees it all, from doubt, to self-doubt, to pity, and finally depression. Looking down on herself, she needs pity from others. Now, Natalie, the Silver Wolf, stood on the ground with one hand, the strong cold vented out, and the body hair began to flourish. The battle has just begun. Hoo-hoo, the coldness of ultimate radiated out, like a roar. The momentum is rising steadily. There was also a cold wind around the body, the grass began to condense and turned into ice crystals, and the scene was not small. Teacher, Crane hurriedly approached. Your injury. She was surprised in her heart. Charlotte Asa, far beyond the scope of information. Not a military division type at all. That blow may not really be the limit. Not to mention having a younger sister. It's just a hand, where is it now? It's just my carelessness, old lady. Natalie said coldly. Stay away from you and Cohen. Don't let the high-level officials of 9 Snake Island let go, kill them all. Especially that girl. As the howling sound became louder, she froze an arm again. Get taller. Still changing. Senon's fangs sprouted, and his hands and feet turned into sharp wolf claws. A ring of air conditioning is wrapped around the shoulders to the back. The white hair turned silver and began to grow, skyrocketing, becoming Super 3 like wild wolf hair. Like a lion, piled on the ground. The overall image is that of a ferocious wolf wrapped in cold air. Bloodthirsty and vigorous. It's been a long time since no one has been able to force my old lady to use my fruit ability. Little devil, you are very good. Human beast form. In this state, her all-round physical fitness has skyrocketed, especially her speed has undergone a qualitative change. Zone dog fruit phantom beast alco true god form. Although Asa had some guesses, she was still a little surprised when she saw it. Phantom beast. It is a devil fruit that is said to be rarer than Logia. In the original book, he was eaten by Yamato, and after turning on the phantom beast state, he can reach the point where he can compete with his father in a short time. And this fruit, even the 4 emperors Kaido had a hard time finding it. Phantom beast plus control freezing air. It is equivalent to having 2 abilities, even Asa is a little greedy. This is a lot of deliciousness. Wow, the ice wind spreads out. The entire high cliff was completely frozen, similar to an ice rink, and Cohen and he, who were closer, were even slid out. Little Crane. The cadres of 9 Snake Island have lost their spirits and their combat effectiveness has been greatly reduced. Go and stop them. I'm going to deal with that little girl. Deputy Instructor Cohen. There was a fierce light in his eyes, and he killed the little Shaki dozens of meters away. There are female warriors blocking the way, but they all meet each other, knock them all down, and die. The crane also set off, but she kept her hands everywhere, and did not completely kill them all. As for Asa, being stared at by Natalie. Quick, take Shaki away. Pity. The 9 snake warriors were still unable to cover, and the nearest Grannyzaw was even kicked away by a crane. Can only watch helplessly. Cohen squeezed little Shaki's neck. People are knives and I am fish. The weak can only be slaughtered. Stop. The 9 snakes warriors once again felt the atmosphere of despair, and the sense of powerlessness accompanied by shouts lingered over 9 Snake Island. To blame. It's because you were born a pirate. Pirates must die. Cohen didn't bother to pretend. Old and weak women and children. A thief is a thief. Let alone a young girl, even a newborn baby is a sin. Yes, in the past, he did not kill indiscriminately to cater to Xiaohei, but that was because he liked Xiaohei. But at critical times, who cares about that? As he exerted his strength, little Shaki became more and more suffocated, and his consciousness gradually became blurred. But at this time, she was very strong, her fists were clenched tightly, and she swept around her sister and elders. At last, putting his eyes on Asa, he smiled with difficulty. For some reason, the first time I saw it, I had a good impression of this brother. Nothing else. Yes, it would be nice to have a brother. And Asa also met the eyes of little Shaki. It stands to reason that he and Jew Snake Island have never met before, and there is no reason to help. The 9 snake fighters didn't take the initiative to call for help. Of course, it may be too late. But, for the sake of Linlin getting the Emperor sword. Little devil, what are you looking at? Cohen squeezed Shaki, and was very upset at her lack of fear in her eyes. Do you still expect the person below to save you? Hello. A faint sound sounded from below. When Cohen heard it, he snorted coldly, and without hesitation, he was about to crush him to death. No wonder he has no fear. After all, this place is hundreds of meters away. No matter how fast, can it arrive in an instant? Impossible. Not to mention there are teachers watching. What is he afraid of? It turned out to be a mute marine. Asa said, holding out her right hand. Natalie's wolf eyes narrowed. But I didn't expect. Asa just snapped her fingers casually. Natalie was taken aback. What the hell? Half a second later, as if predicting something out of thin air, she quickly looked at Cohen in the distance, quick, hardened with hockey. The voice did not fall. Puff. A line of blood slanted out from Cohen's waist. He was stunned, and subconsciously touched with his hand. Next second, bleeding from the broken artery. full of blood. Cohen's vision went dark, and he fell back on his back. When he fell to the ground, he could vaguely see Zhongli's upper body. Extremely weird. At the same time, the severe pain of being severed at the waist also crazily stimulated his nerves. Ah, 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 Cohen screamed. The strong vitality, let it still have breath, rolling back and forth in pain. Yes, one-click solution. Deputy Instructor, a strong character above Rear Admiral in the headquarters. Oh, I thought you were dumb. Asa was stunned, put his hands in his pockets. I can still call out. Shish, swish, and behind Cohen, the invisible slash wave brushed over several lush trees, just like him, they were chopped off in the middle. Collapsed. The incision is smooth and flawless. Division. Corn. Crane looked at this scene and screamed. Immediately using shaving, trying to teleport past. However, Ace's slightly lazy magnetic voice sounded again. Don't move around. Heard that. Xiaohei's body froze, as if being stared at by a wild beast. Even if he moved, his life would be in danger. Watching colleagues die in agony. Her eyes gradually turned red, and blood was bleeding from her lips. Who would have thought, a snap of the fingers, able to make an incomprehensible slash that almost spans space. Crane. Single quote. Crane was taken aback for a moment, subconsciously looked at the teacher. It was a derivative method of knowledge. Mind communication. It is also a technique similar to joining voices into lines. Natalie, who turned on the Phantom Beast, saw this scene, and there was a trace of cold sweat on her forehead. Back down. Single quote. Don't bother. Single quote. I'll lure him away later, and you take advantage of his inattention. Take the escape ship and other interns and evacuate. Single quote. Cohen's body, as an incompetent teacher, I will collect it. Single quote. Today, there must be a result. Just thought of this. She closed her eyes and leaned slightly. A few seconds later, there was a loud bang, and a fox moon-shaped slashing light cut towards the forest behind. Along the edge, cut the cliff, and slide dangerously. It was Linlin's sudden hit. Powerful. Unfortunately, it was predicted 3 seconds in advance and dodged. Asa can see it all. This is the color of knowledge, and knowledge that has been over-cultivated, that is, foreseeing the future. This old woman is becoming more and more critical. Natalie opened her eyes, glanced at Cohen, who was no longer squirming, and took a deep breath. Today and your sister must die. After all, the 3,000 silver threads behind her danced wildly, driven by anger, and once again increased their strength. It's just to try knife skills, so there's no need to be so excited. Asa smiles. You are only allowed to kill, but no one is allowed to kill you. Call out. As he stepped forward, he turned into an afterimage and came to the top of the mountain, but Natalie in front of him. But only an afterimage, and lingering sound remained. Ha ha ha. Then I'll kill your sister. Let's see, would you be excited? Brat. She left, but Asa didn't follow immediately, but took the lead in absorbing Cohen's body, and then looked at the little Shaki not far away. At the same time, the 9 snake female warriors with snakes on their bodies, and the former 9 snake empress who was lifted up. They all ran over. Thank you, thank you. Although most of them were immersed in grief in this indiscriminate disaster, there were still quite a few female warriors who expressed their gratitude immediately. You're welcome, just for the Emperor's sword. Now that I have it, my little sister and I should leave as well. Before the girls were stunned, Asa continued. However, in your situation, that crazy woman will definitely be chased and killed. Even if you are lucky enough to escape, the future of 9 Snakes Island will definitely be cloudy. It won't be safe. Speaking of which, the mother-in-law was the first to react, but still hesitated. So, you can hire me. Let Wan Guo protect you. Sensing something, Asa sped up her speech. As a price, you have to pay yourself. On 9 Snake Island, all the people are soldiers, and hockey is manned. It is not bad that the defense can be strengthened a lot if Wan Guo fills in such an army. Just lacking a strong man to lead. 10 seconds to think about it. From what I've seen and heard, the little girl's condition is very strange. It seems that part of that soul was separated, and after Napoleon was created, he became weaker. The strength has dropped by a few %. Maybe you can't tell it when you fight against the weak, but once you fight against the real strong, the disadvantages will come, and it is easy to suffer in this state. Just like the original book, Onijima Battle. Zeus rebelled. When Big Mom created the new thundercloud, Hera, it was also panting, and it seemed to consume a lot. Shelter. The mother-in-law is still a little hesitant, very embarrassed. Our Amazon Lily is a female country, and we have always only recognized female emperors. Asa said it so straightforwardly, she naturally understood what it meant. But tradition cannot be lost. Moreover, it is still attached to Guo, a country that has never been heard of. Female emperor. My little sister, isn't she a woman? Asa dropped this sentence, her figure began to blur, apparently about to leave. We agree. Before the mother-in-law spoke, little Shaki mustered up her courage and was very decisive. I am the only reserve empress now, and the reserve captain of the 9 snake pirates. As soon as this remark came out, all the girls were astonished, but none of them objected. Why, mother-in-law, he hesitated, and it was hard to talk. Okay, little captain. Asa smiled in satisfaction, and flung out a pair of Homit's gloves. After flying out, when they pull each other, a mirror Uzumaki appears in the middle. And your people, go in and take refuge. Yo. Really, it seems that we don't need to make a move. Near Hydra Island, a man sitting cross-legged on the bow and wearing a straw hat was looking forward. The strength is really good. I really want to compete. Roger, you are causing trouble. Rayleigh, who was sitting on the deck, was leaning on the railing, shaking his head with a tin jug in his hand. That old Marine, after all, is Admiral class, if you want to risk your life. The two of them want to deal with it, and it is estimated that it will be very difficult. Then you still go to get involved. That couldn't be worse. The retreat of this female veteran is the best outcome of this conflict. But, Roger squeezed his hat tightly, but the excitement in his eyes became more and more intense. It feels very interesting. The sea, isn't it the desire for adventure, the search for the unknown? Let's have a big fight, it's fun. Don't mess around. Rayleigh saw that the captain was really on top of his head, and lowered his voice. Our purpose is to take a shortcut from Calm Belt and go to the Subayati archipelago, to participate in the sensational super-large auction. Nearly extinct species, a few extremely rare devil fruits, and the Atom Treasure Tree. Even if you dare to put these up for auction, there might be some century-old wine. As he talked, his thoughts were wandering, and some of his words were crooked, so if it's later, I'm afraid there will be nothing. The two want to build a ship, the strongest ship in the world. So nature also needs the treasure tree, the strongest part of the world, as a material. This auction is bound to win. 2. Then put it next time, sooner or later there will be a chance. Hearing the auction, Roger's mood gradually calmed down, and suddenly his starry eyes flickered again. Look, we're starting to clear the venue, and the most exciting thing is coming. Let's keep watching for a while. The voice just fell. On the edge of the island, several dive escape ships took away the surviving trainee marine. The auras of the 9 snake female warriors also began to disappear in large numbers. What nonsense, do you want to recruit the two of them? Rayleigh said, turning his head suddenly, his eyes narrowed slightly. Boom. In the forest on the outskirts of 9 Snakes Island, a blaze of fire and a column of cold sky burst out. Even the sky is rendered in 2 colors, which means that there are 2 heavens of ice and fire. After a while, the movement faded away. On the other hand, in 9 Snakes Island, the forest has been destroyed. Wherever you see, ice flag and scorched marks coexist. When Asa arrived, seeing this scene, she frowned slightly. Because Linlin, which is more than 7 meters long, has been frozen into a big ice lump, and Napoleon is also inside the ice. Outside world, Prometheus and Thundercloud Zeus split into 2 halves. Frost Spike, Natalie flashed onto the ice layer, and several ice crystals and snowflakes were spinning and condensing. Throwing it at Zeus. Untie. Just then, there was a low voice. Moment. There were 2 wounds on Natalie's body, but the strange thing was that the wounds did not bleed, but turned into ice mist and dispersed. This tricked mirror fog. When it reappeared, the main body was tens of meters away, and there were small pieces of slippery ice crystals on the animal hair. Covered like an armor of ice. It seems that relying on this, the friction force is reduced, and the speed is doubled. Of course, her attack was also interrupted by this. Do you want to do the same move to my old lady a second time? Natalie snorted, it's too underestimating. Even so. But she is open to all aspects of knowledge, and dare not underestimate the slightest, for fear that if she makes a careless move, she will be tricked. Of course I know. Asa chuckled. He didn't want to use this to get rid of her. Now, delayed for a second, little thundercloud, little sun. Also reunited together. Just when they were about to help Mother get out of trouble, the half-prismatic ice lump cracked open actively. Linlin got out of trouble. Elder brother. She let out a breath of cold air. Her pretty face was a little pale, but she refused to admit defeat. Her speed is a bit weird. I see. Asa nodded. In fact, not only the speed, but also the top-notch knowledge. But how to put it? In the top ranks, Natalie's armament hockey is very average, with some serious side effects. With the blessing of phantom beasts, this makes it very slippery. So, little sister, think you want her fruit ability? Asa's idea is that if Napoleon eats it, then Linlin Chuhuo and Lei Wei will master another element. Ice. The ice sword can also transform, which feels very good. Okay. Linlin's beautiful eyes brightened slightly, obviously understood what the old brother meant and liked it very much. This is the fruit of Admiral. Assemble it yourself. There is one more method. Joke. Do you think you can be arrogant if you break my arm? If I want to leave, how can I stop me? Surrounded by cold air, Natalie condensed an ice blade. Also, do you have the means to get the fruit you want? She deliberately sneered and guided. Don't you even know the principle of the random rebirth of fruits? As long as it's food, there's a way. Asa didn't say anything, and immediately looked to her side. Okay little girl, you consume a lot. Leave it to me alone here. You go outside the forest and guard it. It may take a long time. On the one hand, it is guarding the old admiral. On the other hand, it was staring at a pirate ship somewhere outside the island. If you come to make trouble, it will be very embarrassing. So just in case. At the same time, it can also allow Linlin to recover his physical strength first. Brother, be careful, call me anytime. Linlin held Napoleon tightly, and without saying a word, told Zeus to withdraw. But before you go, he also dragged out 3 broken corpses of CP0, with an embarrassing apology on his face. It's also the first time I used Napoleon, and I lost my grip. It's good that you can think of brother everywhere. Asa smiled softly. Language fall. He immediately sucked the 3 of them away, not to mention it was a coincidence, 2 of the 3 had made deals with the nun at that time. Black mist. Natalie saw it and felt something was wrong. Is this the power of munch fruit? Extra abilities. Little devil, you have a lot of tricks, let me see how many you have. She took a deep breath. The anger that was suppressed before is all gushing out at this moment. Then try. Asa Hockey hardened his hands. Many moves, many methods, are limited by the lack of opponents, so they cannot be well controlled. Build muscle memory. Taking advantage of this opportunity, they happen to be familiar with each other. Try, old lady, Natalie seemed to read through his thoughts, and the body of the ice wolf burst out, joining Marine for nearly 60 years, the skills, experience, and everything in these 60 years. There will be no mistakes. Horse illusion silver knife. After tens of minutes, relying on her superb sense of knowledge and the speed up of her fruit ability, not only was she not injured, but she also hit Asa many times. Seen blood many times. This gave her motivation. Asa is young, but not zone. Compared with battery life, although I am old, I am blessed by the power of you demons. Not necessarily bad. God's foot shaved. Keep going. 3 hours later, half of the island was covered in ice and snow. Natalie felt powerless and gradually adjusted her attack. But Asa's offensive started a violent storm instead. How can it be? Single quote. In terms of experience against the enemy, not only does she not lose to her, but she even has a faint tendency to surpass her. 6 hours later, Hockey fights hard, fights for physical strength, and fights for physical strength to recover. Natalie started to get hit, but each time, she was blocked by a double, until one time. Asa looked ordinary and knowledgeable. Suddenly broke out, predicted her prediction, successful hit. It was just one hit, and she lost a leg. Even if the prosthetic limbs were made of ice, the impact was still great, and the state was declining rapidly. You're hiding. At the age of 16, the color of knowledge, and knowledge has already surpassed me. Impossible. Natalie couldn't take it. Her knowledgeable color, in the contemporary marine, has not surpassed her opponent. The only good news is probably that Xiaohei and the others should have fled away. Even if you want to catch it, you can't catch it. Actually, Crane. He had only served as a small staff officer not long ago, and he came here specially to accompany him, but he didn't expect to encounter such a surprise all at once. Perhaps. Single quote. I should go too. Single quote. Take Cohen's body. Single quote. Natalie started to retreat, but the long-term battle made her speed drop a lot. Plus, while fighting and retreating, after searching the entire perimeter, they couldn't find Cohen's body, and their mentality began to become unstable. What are you looking for? Natalie exploded when Asa said it was already in her belly. You devil, die, she exploded. However, after one move, he ran away. Only by being alive can we avenge the students. It's a pity that whenever you were about to escape, Asa's speed increased sharply again, and she was beaten back. She tried to slip away several times, but was beaten back. Angry and aggrieved, he could only continue grinding. My mouth is not hard anymore. Concentrate on grasping the flaws and fight. She couldn't believe it. Roger, wait, it's almost over, it should be over soon. This is the 9th time you've said it. We use oars. If we delay, we don't know how many days it will be. Wait a minute, don't you think it's fun? You might be wrong, really. I only know that the wine is almost gone. I really want to solicit. Maybe the two of them will go to the auction too. See you then. What if I don't go? Haha, outside a 9-snake island. After the two of them did something, they left after a while. Most of the day passed, and the time at this time was almost early morning. 9-Snake Island was pitted and severely damaged. The icy air was everywhere, and even spread to the port, condensing some of the sea surface. Wheeze, wheeze, under the moon. The two of them seemed to be gritting their teeth and persevering, and finally collided with each other. Both of them were a little shaky, and Asa even bent over and sighed. When Natalie thought that Asa was finally going to give up, maybe she was exhausted, her injuries accumulated, and she lost her mind. She wants to make a sneak attack. But I don't know if I have a wrong sense of experience. Asa suddenly stopped breathing, not to mention standing firm quickly. The open wounds were also wrapped in black mist, recovering one by one. It is indeed difficult and tough, which also proves that you will gain me a lot. Asa's eyes sparkled, the latissimus dorsi swelled, the figure began to rise inch by inch, and the overall momentum soared. Like something repressed, about to be released. You. Natalie couldn't speak very well, and she almost didn't come up with her old air, and her whole body was a little dizzy. She persisted until now, and finally exhausted until now. Result, squeal, boom, Asa's legs sank. With a radius of 100 meters, even the forest shook violently, cracks and gullies centered on him, burst and scattered in all directions. The air is also visibly distorted and viscous. See this. Not only is Natalie's last luck gone, but her mentality is also completely exploded. So what the hell is going on with this guy? Until now. There are also deeper forces. High-intensity battles, showing fatigue. You have been pretending all this time. Did you use her as a training partner? I fell, but someone will avenge my old lady. She took a deep breath. I hope this incident can become the driving force for Crane to truly recognize the threat of pirates. Then, elder brother, is it finally over? I'm almost starved. Linlin sat cross-legged on Zeus and flew down slowly. At the same time, she also dropped a beautiful figure, who seemed to have been shocked by electric shock and was unconscious. When Natalie saw this person, the corner of her mouth twitched suddenly, and she almost fainted. Yes, it is the Crane. Why such a big reaction? Linlin glanced at her, grabbed a handful of desserts and snacks, and threw them into his mouth to fill his stomach. A long time ago, I let Zeus catch it. Why do you think I'm doing nothing outside? Good job, little sister. Aha, this is a tacit understanding between the two. If one person is not let go, the little ones will be counted separately. Now, Natalie was a little unsteady, and the phantom beast state was passively lifted, obviously reaching the limit. Linlin saw it. Speaking of which, this old woman is also the most difficult one so far, and my brother is still like this. turn into her, let alone. You have to work harder. It seems that it can't continue. Asa was about to tear his clothes off, and seeing his fighting spirit fade away, he also lost interest. Actually, even if he doesn't release the main body, as time goes by, normality can kill this silver wolf old admiral. It's just very time consuming. After squeezing out the value, there is really no need to waste time. As for the release state, in this state, his hockey physical strength and all-round physical fitness can be doubled. And it won't slow down the flexibility of the body because of the skyrocketing body size, on the contrary, it can increase it. The cost is doubling consumption. Then let's go. Don't be complacent, although I don't know what you are doing with the crane's life, but she will not give in. Natalie uttered her last words. I'm just an old woman, Marine also has better seeds. World government has cultivated stronger. The voice did not fall. The whole island shook slightly, and when it was calm again, there was no sign of Natalie. Are you used to being a teacher? I'm under no obligation to hear you out. Besides, there is a truth beyond the sky, do you need to repeat it? Not just Natalie. Asa, along with Cohen and the 3 CP0s, are all absorbed and disassembled at this moment. Looking forward to this upgrade. Elder brother. Linlin thought of something, and took out an invitation. There was a blonde pirate named Rayleigh, very powerful, let me give this to you. Invitation. To be precise, it is the ticket for the auction, and the time shows 3 days later. Rayleigh. Asa opened it and took a look. Related news. In fact, he received some before, and he was concerned about Emperor Sword at that time, so he didn't look carefully. Now take a closer look, and find that this auction will not be easy. The scale is not small. Also through Treasure Tree Atom, which are the fewest trees in the world. Asa is a bit tempted, just to build a main ship, needless to say the reason. There is still a trip to Hive Island in 3 months. Never. Why don't you drive an ordinary boat in? In addition, if the auction can start with Treasure Tree, it proves that there are better things. The competition will be very fierce, so you need to prepare in advance. Lack of money. Asa glanced at the destroyed 9 Snake Island. Many buildings were implicated, this thick ancient Chinese-style building. Tower. It's a shame it's gone. And if you want to build it back, you have to spend a sum of money. In short, there is a shortage of money everywhere. I don't know if I have to go to Sky Island, it's too late. Asa's eyes flickered slightly, and she thought of a way. I'll take Zeus to Sky Island, little girl, you go to Sabayati. The soldiers are divided into 2 groups. Sky Island has a lot of gold, and when he gets it, it is estimated that Linlin will also arrive. There are mirrored gloves on. It is equivalent to building a space-time channel on both sides to communicate with each other without delay. I don't. However, Linlin paused, and rarely refused. It was the only thing that disobeyed my brother. Brother and sister, never separated. It doesn't matter. I can contact you at any time, no matter how bad it is, don't you have a mirror image? Asa understands Linlin's temperament. Speaking of which, Wangguo has just been incorporated into Ju Snake Island, why don't you ask them carefully? Do you have any special desserts? Taking this as a temptation, although the little girl still refused to agree, the corners of her mouth were still drooling. In the end, she blushed slightly and left. Wipe off without a trace. It's also brother and sister who are both foodies, otherwise they would probably laugh at each other. Sent away. Asa also found a quiet place and began to take stock of the harvest. Although he is an old admiral, the harvest should not be low. In this battle, he recognized his strength. There was also a sense of urgency. Marine 6 Styles Grandmaster *5. 6 Derivative Skills *4. Life Return *2. Armed Color Low Middle High *5. Information Color Low Medium *4. Knowledge Color Top *1. Fruit. Phantom Beast Dako Junction with 50 years of development experience *1. Physical Strength Low, Medium and High *5. Memory Mission *5. Soul *5, comma. After breaking down the old rules. Most of them have been absorbed, and only a small amount of useless ones have been temporarily stored. Then, as the strength of the soul increased again, Asa got a qualitative change in memory absorption and release. More specific, It is to have the power of memory fruit. It can read, take out, replace, and tamper with the memory of the designated object. Well done, it's actually pretty scary. For example, the crane that was just captured. Just implant her a piece, loyal to Ace's. Or insert a piece of identity, work it out, and make up a story. Because of hatred for Marine, he was saved by his benefactor Asa. Thus undercover in Marine's memory. Or lovers, siblings, etc., a series of intimate relationships with oneself. There is something wrong. Asa is equivalent to indirectly owning an undercover agent in Marine. If there is any disturbance in the headquarters in the future, you can know it as soon as possible. And the higher the crane's position in the future, the greater the help to him. The future Marine Chief Staff Officer. Only. If you want to change a person's life, the amount of work is not small. With the strength of my soul, if I want to make it perfect without any loopholes, it will take a whole hour. We'll try later. He turned to the thought and put it elsewhere. Absorbed Marine's 6 styles and derived techniques to make his physical skills more flawless and refined. Especially 2 copies of Life Return. 1 CP0. An Old Admiral's. Going a step further, Ace's control over the body, hair and viscera. Brought. When the digestion speed is turned to ultimate, it doubles directly. Reach the stage limit. Equivalent to. Usually a punch is very powerful, and if you don't concentrate, you can only exert 60% to 70% of it, but now he can use it all. Maximize efficiency, similar to skill and realm. There are even surprises. Hoo-hoo. Asa reached out. The purple-black mist emerged, and with the sound of adsorption, an extremely powerful attraction exploded. Buzz. Crack. In just a few seconds, a giant tree in the distance was uprooted and dragged out of thin air. After. Is it possible to search for enemies in the void? He tried again. It is found that warships can also suck in, and finally control the spit force, that is, the repulsion force. It can also be suspended in midair. It's a little strenuous. Wooden ships, hundreds of tons, or thousands of tons. Maximum under normal conditions. Single quote. It should be able to attract 3 ships. Single quote. It's far from keeping up with the power I can carry with my physical body, but the fruit of the future has awakened, and the suction of the devouring power has developed. Single quote. I'm afraid it will be strengthened. Single quote. As for the direction of development. Single quote. For repulsion and attraction, you can refer to those of Hokage. Asa read this. The color of knowledge and knowledge extended to the sky, penetrated layers of starlight, reached the outer space, and captured several meteorites. Even further, beyond the Fujitora level. This is now attainment. With all your strength, can you pull? Asa gradually regained consciousness. Speaking of which, knowledge color has a drawback, it cannot be used if you are not calm. He is different. No matter how big the mood swings are, it can be used, and it is open 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day. As for consumption, he recovers faster than he consumes. Silver Wolf Admiral, my lucky star. Single quote. The greatest help Natalie provided him was to use her own top-notch knowledge to help him break through the top, to reach the point of awakening. There may be ambiguity in saying this. Let's call it different awakening. It can be understood as the kind of fruit awakening. Asa got up and tried it. After opening, it is similar to ultra instinct. The state is very wonderful. Under the stimulation of knowledge, everything in the body can respond like a conditioned reflex when facing a crisis. Let the cells of each part of oneself go beyond instinct to perceive the danger around them. Further stimulate potential, even more exaggerated. But, the consumption of hockey is also huge. Asa didn't try for long, and got a little tired, so she could only use it as a whole card. Also, it also absorbs other miscellaneous things, which roughly increases its strength. But combined, it all adds up. It's impressive. If you face Natalie again, even if she turns on the Phantom Beast, no matter how slippery she is. Quote. I can fix it quickly too. Single quote. 10 minutes. Single quote. A few minutes. Single quote. Asa feels the power of more refinement. With a lot of confidence, I can't wait to start another contest. That's right, little sister. Single quote. Give her something by the way. Flip room. A long stem fruit in the shape of a large orange persimmon appeared in Ace's palm, and under the moonlight, it sprinkled pieces of different awns. Just when the digestion was finished, what Asa didn't know was that naval headquarters caused a great disturbance because of this incident. Those who escaped from diving have not come back yet, but they called for help through the phone bug first. Soon, the left-behind admiral set off with full power and led the fleet. At the same time, listening to the report over there, while the operator was shocked, the higher-ups also caused a wave of disturbance. There is such a thing. Fortunately, the instructor of the Silver Wolf is leading the team. She is still on Nine Snake Island, fighting with the Charlotte brothers and sisters. What? While retreating halfway, Xiaohei was taken away. Garp, Sengoku, don't be impulsive, you too. Wait, with the help of the Silver Wolf, he broke free and escaped back. That's good. What did Crane say? Silver Wolf Natalie was killed and sacrificed under the siege of the Charlotte brothers and sisters. Quote. The series of heavy news made the Marines stunned and couldn't react. Too suddenly, the current chief instructor, ex-admiral, just died. Wrong. No matter how bad you are, you can escape. Is it because of the Crane? Many people in Marine were her students, and now they are all feeling sad. Although I don't agree with her teaching style. But after all, it is a teacher-student relationship. Immediately came anger, especially the most promising Marines of this generation, Zephyr, Sengoku, Garp. Now, keep the names of the Charlotte brothers and sisters in mind. The rest of the people can't wait to get rid of it soon. It is said that they also took Toto Land for themselves and turned it into a pirate paradise. Obviously only 16 years old, but such a cancer. HMPH, occupying a mere country. Thought this would challenge the prestige of our Marine. The incident of the fall of Marine Old Admiral with the publication of newspapers quickly spread, causing all parties to receive the news. The first half of the Grand Line. On the way to Sabayati, several large merchant ships and pirate ships were very surprised when they learned about it. It's so interesting. This is the first time I've heard of such a thing. Although it is the Old Admiral, his strength is not as good. But it is still not an easy task to kill. I just don't know how much the bounty can increase. On a more luxurious ship, Buckingham Stussie's tone was startled, and then he rubbed the gold ring on his hand, his beautiful eyes twinkling slightly. Will these two people go to Hive Island too? She is responsible for the promotion of this auction. I also sent an invitation to Toto Land, but unfortunately I didn't receive a reply. Also captured a country. She had a great desire in her heart. Compared to Edward Newgate, keeping up with such a benefactor is really not short of money, right? The big pirate, however, it's just a 16-year-old kid. Bajan Stussy is very confident in herself, whether it is appearance or figure. My sister, I can easily be softened. 28 years. Strong combat power does not mean lasting. Industry specializing in surgery. What if he practiced? A look of sadness appeared on Stussy's pretty face. It's going to change. Sure enough, there are many strong people in the world outside. The 8th Treasure Navy ship. From the country of Oriental flowers, the 12th generation pillar of Konjur Qingzhou, throwing away the newspaper, is full of motivation. On the superhead carried by the sharp cone, the edge must be exposed. Laozi's iron head skills, I don't know how much chance he has against them. Pack cluck cluck, a brother-sister combination. Is it the same as us? On the big ship with a broken horn on the prow, Burndy World in a savage outfit handed the newspaper to the thin brother on his shoulder. What a coincidence, they are the pirate brothers. World, it's different. Brother Biojack shook his head. Charlotte Asa, not only her sister is strong, but he himself is also extraordinary. It doesn't matter. If I encounter them, I will deal with them both. World's eyes were fierce, and his fruit ability brought him great confidence. Everything that hinders our path will be destroyed. Similar to a brotherhood, only we can exist. Shish, boss, the things at the auction. Isn't it specially prepared for us? That's right. Go later, stay outside when it's over, and catch them all. Just make up for the loss of Toto Land first. Bring more people, and there must be a lot of guys with the same purpose as us. Somewhere on the pirate fleet departing from Winter Island, there was a dense noise. One of the most physically fit men. He took a sip of rum and laughed grinningly. Pigeon, ha 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 ha. You were right. But there's one more thing. Then he took the knife. It was inserted horizontally in Charlotte Asa's reward order and related newspapers, and the veins appeared on the back of the hand. This auction is over, it's time to get Toto land. Maybe I could not care about it before, and then slowly, but now I can't. The speed at which they grow is too unexpected. The whole first half began to dance wildly with demons, and Asa, who was still on Nine Snake Island, paid a little attention. But compared to this, he is more concerned about Napoleon, the fusion with the demons. If successful, Linlin will be able to control the freezing air. Frosty. In time, it is not good to develop to the level of Aokiji. Call. The next day, noon. Black mist surged. Napoleon emerged from the palm of his hand. Asa frowned, and relaxed slightly. The fusion of phantom beasts and homits will actually cause conflicts. If I were the previous me, I still need to work hard. Now the control is improved, and it's easy to need. After all, he throws the sword, and Napoleon, who was in midair, suddenly turned into a snow wolf surrounded by cold clouds after emitting a cloud of cold air. Very heroic. Boom. When it stepped on the void, it was tens of meters away. Running back and forth is very exciting. Elder brother. Linlin's apricot eyes opened slightly. It can still moonwalk. I taught. Asa smiled slightly. If you have enough physical fitness, and then implant the memory of relevant skills, it will be completely okay. There is nothing difficult. I'll try my hand. After Dako Junshin transformed back into the Emperor's sword, Linlin clenched his hands and leapt into the air, and swiped into the distance. Call out. The sword energy burst out along with the cold air. In an instant, more than a dozen big trees were cut open, and frost formed everywhere they passed. Linlin tried again. It wasn't until the female warrior from Nine Snake Island came over and said so much, that she stopped waving. Marvelous. Linlin was very satisfied, and immediately hugged Asa. The huge body made people feel stuffy. Linlin, you've grown up, so be careful. Linlin doesn't understand. Never mind. Asa couldn't figure out whether the little girl was pretending or something. After, Nine Snakes Island has also fulfilled its promise to become a member of Wangguo. There is only one requirement, to live alone on an island. Except him, only women can engage in trade exchanges. Asa has nothing to say. After arranging some mirrors, and a feast on the island with Linlin, we split up. Everyone, if there is an accident, remember to use the communication mirror to contact. Before Asa left, I also gave them a few special mirrors. This small mirror is amazing and can make video calls, which is more high-end than phone bugs. Thank you very much for your gift, Master Asa. The mother-in-law held it with both hands. Ever since she saw Asa's strength and all kinds of outrageous magical powers, she began to be obsequious. Now, a row of 9 snake female warriors standing behind them also bowed to see them off. Asa, brother, only Shaki is more natural, shaking this little hand. Goodbye. Asa nodded. Then there was a big white cloud wearing red and white, a small peaked cap. Then he drove him away slowly, even showing a lazy, carefree and lazy expression. Until, Asa hardened his right foot with hockey and stomped on it hard. Da Baiyun is a shocker. Go all out, I'm leaving too. After reluctantly saying goodbye to his brother, Linlin glanced at the people on 9 Snake Island, and waved Napoleon in his hand. It seemed to be a demonstration before leaving by boat. After saying goodbye, the female warriors of the 9 Snakes have a little bit of longing for the future and the development direction Asa said earlier. Alright, let's build a house and build a defense line. If Marine comes again, we won't be out of time. The evening goes and the morning comes, time flies. 2 days passed in a flash, and Asa followed the permanent pointer she bought and came to the sky above the town of Magic Valley. That's it. Because of the direction, turbulent weather, lack of physical strength of Zeus and so on. It took all this time, otherwise it could be faster. Zeus, fly up. Okay, Master Asa. Zeus's mind seems to be a little small, and his speech always has a cute feeling. Much like a young Linlin. Hoo-hoo. There was a violent sound of wind. It spun around like a somersaulting cloud, and broke through all kinds of clouds in a short time, and came to the high 7,000 meters above the sky. Zeus is still going straight up. No pauses, no regular paths. It took some more time. After successfully reaching the Bye-Bye Sea, which is above 10,000 meters, the air here has become thinner again. A lot of clouds. And Zeus. It was also the first time I saw such a beautiful scenery, and my eyes were very excited. Master Asa, look. There is an island there. An island in the sky. Well, you set off a mine and beat everyone out. Ah, are there still people living here? Do not talk nonsense. Good, comma, boom, Burka, Angel Island, Island of the Gods Arpajado. Cloud Shinobi Village. Zeus stimulated the clouds in these 4 places, small or large, to the point where dense thunderstorms sounded. Because it is too unusual. The residents of Sky Island are all panicked, trembling at home, and have the urge to crawl. At the same time, the person in charge of Burka, Chief Sandy, and God Ganfer. A strange voice sounded in my heart. Is Asa. He did not engage in any operation of pretending to be a god. It was unnecessary, and he confessed directly that he wanted to include Sky Island under his command. Let them come to Alpardo. Come all come. Why not be included in the rule of the nations? Anyway, by the way, it can not only take away gold justifiably. It can also open the Sky Island trade market. Sky Island's special products have great potential. For example, various shellfish, waiba that can be ridden, special fruits, and even folk customs and so on. It can also develop tourism. Is it not good? Leave it alone. Could it be that Enel will take advantage of it for nothing in the future? Only, the ending was as expected. Even if there was a threat from Lei Ming, the 3 rulers still refused in unanimous agreement. At the same time, in order to find out the truth. With their respective warrior, divine guard, priest, they surrounded Asa on the island of gods with a 3-way attack. Only, when they saw each other, they were all stunned, especially Gonfal riding a Pegasus. You, why are you here too? I still want to ask you. He's from Qinghai, right? Did she do all that just now? Or, is it your people? Quote. The Aboriginal people of Sky Island and the Sandia people of Cloud Shinobi Village have conflicts left over from history in order to grab land, and they have to fight from time to time. So doubt it now. Is it the ghost of the other party? The 2 sides compete against each other. Intel. Thundercloud Zeus burst out a burst of lightning sparks. The scene became a little quieter now. I'm not interested in dealing with your disputes. Asa leaned against a giant vine tree, and didn't waste time. I've said everything I needed to say just now, let's make a decision quickly. You, looking at each other in blank dismay. So it's really not the Qinghai helper invited by the other party. That, who do you think you are? A Cloud Shinobi Village warrior, armed with shell equipment, is very aggressive. Not only him. On Ganfer's side, there are also some people who have come out one after another. They are the strongest priests. People from Qinghai, with a little special ability. I want to rule Sky Island. Are you wishful thinking? There can only be one god. They took up modified weapons such as scorching guns, flash guns, and shock guns. You guys who sit in a well, you don't even know that our Sky Island people are so powerful. Asa has automatically filtered out their words. Just reach out. Summon the soul of Homits stored in the body, which Linlin gave in advance, and release it to the surroundings. My shock shell. The shock shell has eyes and nose, and it's alive by itself. It can move on its own. He came to kill me. I can't control my feet anymore. Is it Fangbei? There are also Reeb and Shimmer. Fool, you're scalding me to death. What kind of power is this? The one who just shouted, sit in the well and watch the sky. The one who shouted the hardest, is now the fastest runner, and at the same time the worst. The rest of the people were also shocked. The Sandia was no exception. They were in a hurry, and finally fought with the rebellious Homits shellfish. Yes, the fruit ability user of Qinghai. The war chief and Gamfer looked to Asa. The eyes are horrified. They are in high positions. They have seen a lot and no devil fruit, and now the people around them are gradually falling down, and they no longer sit around waiting to die. They all went down. It's been a long time since I made a move. People from Qinghai, you offended the island of gods and killed my priest. Accept the punishment. Ganfer, do you want to join forces once? HMPH, no need. Now Ganfer is young and energetic, because he has never been beaten. He still has confidence in himself. Clang. The golden chime sounded. No, still not. Impossible. Can't even pierce his skin. Gamfer held a silver spear. He doubted life, but he could pierce through steel. Are you really human? Help. After another moment, Gamfer looked at the warchief. No chance. Asa seemed to sense something, regained consciousness, and suppressed it with extreme force. The dust has settled. Everyone in Sky Island was lying on the ground, looking desperate. Especially the ones who shouted the most fiercely were on the verge of death. I regret it deeply. Troubleshooting. Single quote. With a gloved hand, Asa pulled away a Uzumaki, and then, in the eyes of Ganfer and others who were as angry as Gossamer. Teams of chess soldiers walk out. Asa didn't just stand around and do nothing. Just now, unleash the enhanced knowledge and knowledge. After searching the only surrounding islands, I accidentally found 2 devil fruits. Judging from the illustrated book. 1 is the future Euroja's karma fruit. 1 is thunder fruit from Enel in the future. These 2, especially the thunder, which can cut off who, naturally Asa will not let it go. Also, and the biggest purpose of coming here, the golden bell, the golden pillar, and Shandora. These are all necessities for the development of all nations. Now, there is also the cost of building a new ship, and there is an auction. Linlin over there. Single quote. It should be arriving soon. I don't know how the situation is. Single quote. Comma. Boom. A soap bubble burst. At the moment in Sabayati Archipelago. At the illegal port under the number 0 tree, pirate ships and all kinds of majestic ships are moored, and the number is huge. Only one of the desert ships seemed out of place, including Pink Shadow on board. As she walked forward, countless pairs of malicious eyes all gathered towards her. Residues. What are you looking at? If you want to fight, just come. Linlin's voice was very tough, as was his actions. He was not as gentle and pleasant as when he faced his elder brother. Napoleon quickly opened his eyes and grinned. It's the same voice. Immediately, a lot of eyes were lost. Some of them were purely attracted by the appearance, but at the moment they were silently complaining in their hearts. Good looking. Even if you are bigger, you can't hide your natural beauty. No newspaper viciousness at all. Closing square bracket. It's a pity. I have a long mouth. At the same time, several figures hiding in the dark all frowned. Anna, is her brother not here? Who knows? Sabayati is the site of the world's nobles, but they have deployed heavy marines, so they may not dare to come here. Are you stupid? He will leave his sister behind. Then do you want to report? Quote. The shadows in the dark disappeared. There are actually a lot of things like this. Since the killing of the old admiral, it is difficult for the brother and sister not to attract attention. As time flows, several special ships approach the shore. Isn't that the mafia boss of the 5 West Blue families? Look, King Prudence. Elizabello is here too. I heard that the king's fist he just created will kill Marine Admiral in an instant. And the underground predators of New World, it seems that there is something really special. Hey, it's the Conqueror's green pepper. The heir of the 8 Treasures Navy, who owns the existence of Conqueror's hockey. I heard that the bounty exceeds 500 million Baileys. That's a block reward, plus there is no threat to the government. Otherwise it will be even higher. There is also World Destroyer. No, is he here to make trouble? Quote. Block rewards refer to certain pirates whose amount is fixed due to special reasons. No matter how troublesome it is, I won't add it to you. There are 2 reasons. One is that it is unnecessary, that although you are strong, you are not a big threat. The other is that the threat is too great, resulting in the bounty being locked in advance. Like rocks. A few years ago, it was locked up to 3.3 billion Baileys. No more upgrades. And Burndy World. Obviously because of the fruit ability, it is more destructive than anyone else. But the actual reward is not high. He also came this time. When he was docking with one of his subordinates, his eyes were basically on par with Linlin's. It's almost time. Fast forward, fast forward. Around the large auction house number 0, there are mixed fish and dragons here, which is even more lawless than the lawless zone, and the flow of people is staggered and surging. Those who sell weapons, gamble, take drugs, engage. At this glance, it's everywhere. Don't say Marine. Even if the celestial dragons come, if you don't pay attention, you will be taken away. Certainly, now celestial dragons. He really came here with a full face, but he also brought a lot of guards, and even the captain of CP0 followed closely. Celestial dragons, stand aside. HMPH, here, does he still want others to kneel down for him? The remaining forces, representatives, and boss-level figures from all sides were also released under the giant guards. Crew boys. Most of them were stopped outside the door, because they were not qualified, so they were not allowed to enter. Rayleigh, this way. How do I know the way you lead? Ha ha ha, that's right. However, that Charlotte Asa doesn't seem to be here. After entering, the nervous Captain Roger, with his drunken mate, chose an inconspicuous corner to sit down. While above, there were several VIP luxury boxes, and Linlin was also invited to them. Because the desserts were free, she let go of her appetite to eat. So fast, the waiters on the side were stunned for a while. It's here. Stussy, who had just put on light makeup in the background and was well dressed, turned from surprise to doubt. No, where is Charlotte Asa? But time waits for no one. As the auctioneer in this auction, she can only take the stage first. At first glance, the feeling to the people below is beauty. Second glance, it's really big. Third eye, the auction item of the red cloth that was pushed up was covered. Everyone became angry immediately. My lords, this auction will be hosted by the little girl. The first thing is the main event. Everyone's eyes were attracted. One of the most tenacious trees in the world, the treasure tree atom, we got 1/6 of the tree body. No matter what kind of war you experience, in the brutal artillery fire, it can stand still. Because it's too big, it's just a little exhibit. The whole product will be sent to the seller's trading point after the transaction is successful, so there is no need to worry about being intercepted. Hey, don't talk nonsense to Lousy, just talk about how much it is. Sudden, there was a violent voice interrupting from below. Stussy still smiled, polite. Next second, a black light flashed. It pierced through the chest of this 3-meter-tall irascible man. The one who opened fire was an elite sniper from the auction, and no one knew where he was hiding. After a successful blow, as a deterrent, the corpse was not dragged away. Stussy continued, but a little faster. The starting price is 30 million Baileys. Send a gifted Murloc shipbuilder, Tom. Everyone was jealous, and after a round of competition, it was pushed to 300 million Baileys. This price, both Rayleigh and Roger couldn't help but click their tongues. They are not very rich at this stage. What should I do? Do I want to grab it? Billion Baileys. Linlin's loud and clear voice made the noisy place quieter in an instant. Now the basic price of the fruit is 50 million per piece, which has not yet climbed to 100 million per piece. So this price, you can buy 20 pieces of devil fruit. The needs are different, no one will argue anymore. Stussy's smile became brighter, and after reporting the count, the deal was completed. During the period, I tried several things, but there were no good ones, until I pushed a cage, which contained a pair of siblings. There is a flame burning behind it. The Lunaria family. Someone exclaimed. Even the only ugly-faced celestial dragons stood up in the box. Excited eyes. Yes, this race can produce flames on its body, and it can survive in various environmental conditions in nature. Usually, you can get 100 million Baileys just by reporting to the world government. For special reasons, we will sell, and the single starting price is no less than 500 million Baileys. Notice, it's a male and a male. Stussy's smile is a bit inexplicable. If you get all of them, maybe in the future, there will be more and more. After the words fell, the expressions of the people in the audience were different. In the box, Linlin also opened his eyes wide. What a mess. Chapter 31. The goal of all nations is to accommodate all ethnic groups. The Lunaria clan is too rare. If my brother can extract blood to make a baby, she can have an extra Lunaria baby. Can't let go. The elder brother also said. Single quote. Buy it when you see something good, don't care how much it costs, even if it costs 10 billion Baileys. Single quote. Single quote. Linlin was not polite, and the final price was outrageous, even higher than what celestial dragons raised, reaching 3 billion Baileys. The second one, 3.5 billion. A total of 6.5 billion transactions. Now, many people's faces turned black, and celestial dragons was also very angry. You actually robbed me of this saint stuff. Charlotte Linlin, do you really have so much money? More people. For example, the mafia and underground predators are all skeptical. Brainless price increases, it is hard to believe that it is really rich. My brother has it. Linlin is confident. No money, don't make trouble. Come on, even if you sell your brother, you won't be able to get it together. Isn't there a kingdom? If you mortgage it together, maybe you can really get it together. One Piece Kingdom, maybe the money has not been squandered for a long time. Quote. In these taunting and mocking voices, the little sun on Charlotte Linlin suddenly rose, and the heat soared. Even if it's not enough. Kill you. It's enough to exchange for the bounty. Veins popped up on her forehead. The aura of the whole person also increased rapidly. Come on, cluck cluck. Isn't it the United who killed an old-fashioned admiral? Others are afraid of you, but it doesn't mean Lousy is afraid of you. World stand up, arms hardened hands. Seeing that the noise became more and more intense, and even a fight was about to start in the next second, Stussy hurried out to smooth things over and change the subject. After all, not everyone can be shot and killed, and the target of her diversion is devil fruit. Paramesha, healing fruit, Logia, gas fruit, zone, phantom beast, Yamada no Orochi. As soon as the continuous voice came out, the two people who were about to fight could not help but stop. 3 series. It's still at the top of the 3 series. That's all for Logia, you demons have them all. The rest of the skeptics didn't say much anymore. If you can take out these things, if you can't pay in the end, you will naturally have a way to sanction. Must get it. The audience became frenzied, and began to count and calculate the family property. Starting price. Seeing that the situation was stable, Stussy was secretly relieved, but soon his heart was lifted again. 10 billion. 3. I want them all. It's Charlotte Linlin again. Stussy had a headache. She wondered if this girl was purely talking. This money, even a big country, is not easy to come up with. Snort. 15 billion. Unlike last time, celestial dragons shouted directly with a pig-like throat. Overwhelmed Linlin. Linlin. 2 billion. Celestial dragons. 205. The CP0 team leader in the box frowned. Didn't he only bring 5 billion? At the same time, the rest of the people were itching their teeth with anger. Why don't you just open this auction for the two of you? Isn't this making a fuss? When all the audience's attention was focused on the two of them, an accident suddenly happened. The irritable man whose chest had been pierced before suddenly trembled. Turn into a phantom. Blink on stage. With a superhuman speed, he grabbed 2 fruits with a single push of his hands. Stussy never expected. Suo Shin reacted very quickly, flipped her hand, and cut the dagger at the person in front of her. Tear. This dagger cuts iron like mud. It actually cut off the bowl with both hands, but what caught people off guard was that after the irritable man lost his hand, there was a piece of old yellow teeth full of smoke. He gnawed directly on the purple fruit in it. Bite. Swallow. Pain and joy. Stussy wanted to make a move, but saw that the man in front of him had changed, and his size had skyrocketed. Heads grow one after another. Spit a snake, but it resembles a dragon. Each head is 2 meters long, and it looks extremely eye-catching on the huge auction stage. Ha 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 ha. You made the right bet. Since you made the right bet, it's real devil fruit. The irascible man in the form of Yamada no Orochi, with his snake eyes rolling, laughed maniacally. You are too sincere. Only, looking at the people below who were staring at him, his smile froze a bit, but then recovered. He has a way to escape. Hello, Charlotte Linlin. You are alone at the venue. CP0 next to Celestial Dragons took the opportunity to splash dirty water. This is not your person, because I can't grab Charwad Saint, so I sent my men to grab it. If Asa can recognize it here, this is the squad leader who made a deal with the nun 10 years ago. Which eye did you see? Linlin heard that. Can't stand it any longer. Conqueror's hockey is released. Blast out. However, at this time, someone down below explodes Conquerors at the same time. Instead of facing the top, counteracting her impact, it's like comparing. It's not a big deal to watch the excitement, because many people feel that they can take advantage of the chaos. So be it true or not, take the opportunity to boo. Especially the irascible man with 8 heads, seeing that the situation is favorable, he directly raised his voice and shouted. Master Linlin, we were discovered, so we can only break out together. This is good. Even if you jump into the Yellow River, you won't be able to clean it up. If you change to an ordinary girl, you will have to cry. But Linlin didn't say much. Hold Napoleon, hold Prometheus. Killing intent burning. Get ready. The scene was completely chaotic. If it wasn't for confiscating the hot weapons before coming in, I'm afraid it would be even more chaotic. On stage, Stussy looked at the irritable man, a stern look flashed across his eyes, and several people followed behind him, killing him together. Good business. My own commission. Suddenly, she felt an extremely terrifying aura. Its world broke out. Come on, cluck cluck. Destroy. Start. He laughed loudly, and there was a burst of explosion in his finger bones, and he rushed to Charlotte Linlin. It's a pity that your brother is not here, so I can only kill you alone. 10 times faster. Boom. A strong collision sounded. Surprisingly, the crasher is whirled. After one blow, Linlin threw a blow at another box, and immediately flew to the world again. Whoa. Flying and chopping the waves. The captain of CP0 on the box asked several companions to escort Charwad-san to leave, and his own hair grew wildly. Grow extremely crescent-like giant fangs. Red eyes. Slam this /wave with all your might. This is cat fruit ancient species saber-toothed tiger form. Turning around and opening it, her body was still sent flying more than 10 meters away, shocking her hasty strength. Too strong. My sister is so perverted. How far has my brother reached? Even if it's just a certain aspect, it's still very valuable. Immediately, there are a few more devices in hand. Seastone hidden weapon, hypnosis potion enough to kill 10 dinosaurs. Yes, the moment I heard Charlotte Linlin was coming. He is ready. That naturally mutated body is of great research value. Take you down first, Sky Island. Asa, who was holding the Thunderlane fruit, felt a slight movement in her heart, as if she had a premonition of something through a mirror. Once and again, and again and again. Strange lines appeared on his face, and as his body grew taller, he quickly pulled away a Uzumaki. Since you want to dig so much, then watch carefully. Sabayati Archipelago, Auction Site 0. The giant guard frowned when he heard the noisy and obviously different noise inside. What's going on inside? Hey, let's go in. If something happens to the boss, I will kill you all. Could it be that World Destroyer World started making trouble? He said he was buying and selling with sincerity, but I think he is doing sabotage with sincerity. Quote. There was a dense crowd outside the gate, and the evil forces from all sides, thousands of people were commotioning. He began to touch the weapon, ready to move. Especially the world pirates. A mermaid giant mixed cadre, using his own racial talent, went directly invisibly. The remaining two, a cube fruit ability user. A master of traditional Chinese medicine boxing. They also looked at each other and separated. At the same time. Outside auction number 0, under several numbered red giant trees next to each other. A large number of Marines began to gather, and under the command of Vice Admiral, they guarded the key points of each passage. Guns, shells, all kinds of sophisticated weapons are ready in place quickly. Report Scion Vice Admiral. Alternate Admiral is already on his way. He will arrive soon. The Holy Land will send strong men to fight with us. Very good. Vice Admiral nodded upon hearing this. The higher-ups have issued a death order, and the Charlotte brothers and sisters must not be let go. The auction is out of our control. Everyone, calm down. Calm. If there is more trouble, under uncontrollable circumstances, we can only detonate the super bomb in the underground field. No one can get out alive. This is one of the means of the auction house. Used as a deterrent. However, the scene became even more noisy after a slight silence, as if no one believed they would do that. They're all pirates. The more chaotic the situation, the better for them. Who cares about that? For a while, those who maintain order are all helpless. The background staff had no choice but to quickly remove some of the real auction items through a special channel. Emperor Sword. Broken Blade. Momo, 50 times cut. Quote. Ahahaha, it's so lively, I'm coming too. Bakonkwan Wu Tu Xing Xing Luan Wu. Quote. Linlin and World almost became the highlight of the audience, but the latter, as a famous powerhouse, is more than 10 years older than the former. Unexpectedly, he was deflated everywhere and retreated steadily. A shot of the Emperor's sword shattered it into the wall, and along with it, the green pepper was split open. Such brute force shocked the audience. Is this really an underage girl? If you didn't see it with your own eyes, who would dare to believe it? Come on. It's too strong. Too strong. Give it a few more years to definitely reach the peak. But it can't do it now. World is even more excited. Momo 100 times. Just when he was about to explode with all his strength, his thick eyes flickered slightly, and a white shadow floated behind Charlotte Linlin. He is more than 6 meters tall. It's a saber-toothed tiger in the shape of a human animal. As he landed, a big net engulfed Linlin. Immediately, she was invincible and powerless. Sea stone. Still high purity. At present, only Wano Kuni has this kind of processing technology, but the world government seems to have invested in related research. The results are ahead of schedule and cannot be mass-produced. But now it's out. At this moment the whole audience. No one thought that Charlotte Linlin would be so popular and sought after. Everyone is staring at her. Continue. Switch to Seastone rocket launcher suppression. Let's do it quickly. Hypnosis potion won't go in. Following the CP0 captain's speech, men in black appeared from all corners, either carrying bazookas or special weapons. In the outside world, it is priceless. This wave obviously cost money. Boom, 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 boom. More than a dozen flashes of fire were fired towards the bottom. Mother. Prometheus happened to be outside, and it wanted to help anxiously, but unexpectedly, World cut it open with a big knife. Come on, cluck cluck. You little ammunition. How much is enough? There should be a big wave. Let's see Lousy's ability. Can you penetrate her steel body? Momo, 30 times super gun. Quote, World snatched a bazooka, attached the ability to launch it, and the exit was instantly enlarged. Overwhelmed more than a dozen other pieces. This made the CP0 captain raise his eyebrows. This guy. What if Charlotte Linlin really can't hold on? Master Linlin. Yamada no Orochi's irritable man is also not far away, and he sees that he is about to be affected. With an idea, they huddled together. Return to human form. You must hold on. I'm here to save you. That's the way it is said. But he used Linlin as a shield and hid behind her. Well, when it's time to be brave, it's time to be brave, and to change from being cowardly to being cowardly. And Linlin, I don't have the heart to talk to this guy at all. Then try. Can you kill my old lady? She's starting to explode. Under the influence of Seastone, Napoleon stepped aside, his hands forming claws, as if he wanted to use his flesh to forcefully tear everything apart. Roger. The moment the rocket fired, Rayleigh's eyes moved slightly. Shall we help? Certainly. Roger said something, then grinned, and suddenly changed his tone. No, maybe not. Next second, Rayleigh also looked into the distance, the broken mirror beside Linlin. Buzz. These mirrors suddenly float up, stick together at extreme speed, and finally form a complete long mirror. During the period, waves appeared. Clatter. Step out. The crisp sound fell on the noise of the audience, and it was very clear. Hoo-hoo. Immediately, accompanied by unrivaled strong waves. The distorted high-pressure air is released in a purple-black color. Ziz. The fastest Seastone shell was suddenly blocked by an invisible shield when it was approaching Linlin, 10 meters away. Immediately afterwards, one after another, they all hovered strangely. Even the last 30 times the cannon, still can't get rid of this law. CP9 were all dumbfounded. Boom. But the black cannonballs, after a while, still bombed. The powerful powder swept across a radius of 200 meters. The whole venue. Mafia. Underground predators. Countless people were blown away. It is conceivable how much destructive force the center bears. Come on, cluck cluck. World laughed knowingly about this blow, just waiting for the dust to fade away. His laugh, but gradually solidified. Charlotte Linlin, intact. Not only that, the Seastone net disappeared completely, but in front of her, a man dressed in white appeared. Cooperating with the looming black lines on the face, the weirdness released smoothly. There is an indescribable feeling. Is murderous. Blocked. Roger touched his chin, as if he had some inspiration. Combine the release of Conqueror's Hockey and the release of Armament Hockey to form a shield. His brother is out. The captain of CP0 was slightly shocked. Sure enough, he is also a super freak, I guessed right. Not only them, there were hundreds of people in the audience. Qingzhou, world, and the kings of various kingdoms all looked back and looked forward, and the scene was a little frozen. Hello, what happened? Isn't it quite lively just now? Who is he? Do you all know him? Special passage. Chalvade Saint, whose legs were supported by two CP9s in black, ordered them to stop, and then yelled and pointed at the man in white. High-spirited, but the next second, with a tearing sound, a white line appeared at the bend of his spacesuit forearm. The forearm hangs down. A blood incision appears, smooth and round. Paji. The severed hand lay quietly on the ground. Ah, street. Charwad was taken aback for a moment, and immediately made a thick and sharp pig's foot sound. Pain. It hurts so much. My heart is about to burst. Not only physical, but other aspects. For example, this arm can no longer point to anyone. The wives and concubines who can no longer be snatched by him, dredge the sewer. Of course, I don't have the time to think about this now, it hurts like hell. Quick, go. The faces of the two CP9s changed drastically. Very decisive. But when they were about to step out of the escape route, they wore a black hat on their faces and cut a circumferential mouth. Then, the upper and lower sides were split open, revealing traces of brains. Fly away. After losing half of his brain, CP9 lost his brain command and fell to the ground. Not only is it weird, but the atmosphere is also suffocating. Celestial dragons smashed some more teeth. Both painful, scared again. He was pampered and spoiled since he was a child, how had he ever experienced such a thing? This scene, many people saw it, and the rest who wanted to escape and make trouble fell silent again. This scene happened just as Charlotte Linlin appeared next to her. The timing was so coincidental. Anyone with a brain knows who did it. It's him. Stussy covered her red lips. Before, they tried their best to maintain the order, but now, this person is easily suppressed just by appearing on the stage. Stussy suddenly trembled slightly. No, wrong. That's celestial dragons, nobles of the world. Is he crazy? No matter how crazy the dark forces of other pirates are, why haven't they provoked them now? On the bright side, the celestial dragons cannot be killed, otherwise, Admiral will be provoked. Etc. You said that he and his sister teamed up and just dropped Admiral. Oh, that's all right. Without, single quote, aren't you dead, single quote. I didn't expect to use this woman as a shield, it's so thick. Single quote. Wrong, single quote. It shouldn't be, single quote. I don't seem to have been washed by the aftermath at all. Single quote. The irritable man opened his eyes and turned into Yamada no Orochi again. When he wanted to escape again, he found that something was wrong. Not only was he not harmed in the slightest, but he was also well protected. It's too quiet. Could it be that the eardrums were deaf due to the dramatic sound just now? Suddenly, he saw the man in white. Sighed, very familiar. Yes, moment. The irritable Yaki snake understood, and his face changed for a while. Just at this time, Stussy's eyes also turned to him, as if he wanted to see the culprit. What would he do? Can you still do something unexpected? In fact, it is true. In front of hundreds of people, the irritable man suddenly took steps, not only did not escape, but also approached. Grown-ups, Master Asa, I'm your suitor, have you forgotten? It's finally time. His eyeballs rolled slightly. He said a lot of words, and there were language traps everywhere, without exception, to make outsiders think. His backer is Asa, elder brother. Linlin's chest calmed slightly, bullying again, he's talking nonsense. No, the irritable man quickly waved his hands, I just had to. The voice did not fall. Asa slowly stretched out a palm to him, this posture is more like a palm clap. But nothing. He didn't speak, and he didn't look at him, which was a bit confusing. The irritable man was slightly taken aback. I was stunned in my heart. What is this for? Is it a gesture that he doesn't know? Really fooled. Is it to accept yourself? Snort. Really? A 16-year-old kid, he's so foolish. I am willing to serve you and make atonement. He thought for a while, and made a bold move like a pet, decapitated the main snake. It stuck to Ace's warm palm. Go through fire and water, do whatever you want. The voice just fell. Something unexpected happened. A faint phantom of the sakura flower fell. Boom. Asa Palm. A giant energy group rushed out, shattered its main head, rushed out of the auction, and spread out 100 meters away. Many eyes from the outside world. All are attracted. Isn't it forbidden to bring weapons? Even the laser weapons in the storybook have come out. Still said there's nothing wrong. Bros, come in with me. In the venue, as the huge snake body fell down, the eyes of the snake with 7 heads also showed a look of astonishment. After a few seconds, more astonishment came. He originally wanted to escape by feigning death, but suddenly found that the internal body structure began to disintegrate rapidly. All the cells and tissues are smashed. High-level armed color, internal destruction, the ultimate is still used. The captain of CP0 felt cold in his heart. In fact, as early as Cranky Man. The moment Asa took the initiative to send it to the face, the moment Asa exerted force, emission spread all over her body. 8 heads. Now, just release it. However, how can a violent man who has never even stepped into the new world understand this power? No. Single quote. Will not. Single quote. I can't die yet. Single quote. I ate phantom beasts rarer than Logia. I can step by step, to the highest. Single quote. Paste failed. The badass snake body of the irritable man couldn't stop trembling. Don't wait to think about it. He turned into a puff of black mist and inhaled it into the palm of his hand, and Asa slowly withdrew his hand. From beginning to end, the cranky man was never looked at directly. Treacherous, want to climb relatives, self-righteous, leaned forward, and then hung up, a proper clown. What Linlin originally wanted to explain was also gagged abruptly. Yes, how could my brother be led by the nose? Are you hurt? Without. Linlin shook his head. But bro, the auction was supposed to be going well, but there were several annoying guys who interrupted it. They even came to harass me. She said, looking down one after another. There are World, Konjur Qingjiao, CP0 Captain, and many CP9 elite personnel. The corners of their mouths twitched. What's the matter with this soft voice, with a hint of coquettishness? He was obviously so rough just now. Tukao to Tukao. They did not act rashly. Is it World? His eyes keep flickering, and he doesn't know what to think. There is also a king of Prudence, who quietly gathers King's Fist and begins to accumulate power, with malicious intentions. The rest are currently unavailable. Yeah, Asa wiped off the bloodline on the little girl's face, and smiled. My heart gradually cooled down. Make it like this. Auctions are almost 0 yuan purchases. He looked at Stussy not far away, stepping on red high heels, twisting and approaching. Are you okay? Bakingham's Stussy. At this stage, I don't know if it's a member of Rock's Pirate. Is the concubine of Whitebeard, who gave birth to a silly son, Edward Weeble. Also, the future CP0, Stussy, the queen of Happy Street, Red Light District, in the underground world, is still her clone. The two look almost identical. You are, Master Asa, right? Terribly sorry. I brought you a bad experience and hurt your sister. We will make up for it. Let's rectify now. The auction may be able to. She didn't say a word. World suddenly grinned grinningly, violently. Scared most of the people on the field. Come on, cluck cluck. The destruction hasn't stopped yet. Charlotte Asa, since you brothers and sisters are all here, I'll see you off and let's go on the road together. Momo, 100 times speed. Quote, World consumed a lot of physical strength, thinking that one hit would kill him, and his whole body was full of heat. A blood flash, fist, accompanied by a huge hockey impact, it came to the sky above Asa, and it took 0.0001 seconds, when it was about to hit. He found that at some point, Asa had turned around. And like predicting the future, already stretched out his right hand. In this way, his head just fit on it, which is somewhat similar to the previous Yamada no Orochi. The momentum explodes and slows down. Call out. Crack. Wait for all the underground giants to recover, and take a closer look. Previously, the solid ground that was not even affected by the explosion cracked more than 30 meters. As for the World, but he was killed in the face by Asa, and pressed into the crack of the ground with one hand. Woo, woo, World is also worthy of being a strong man. Hockey hardened his head in time. She still had the strength to put her hands on the broken surface, trying to force her head out. I have to say that this posture is very humiliating, but that's all. Boom, sudden, Another sound. The air waves spread out. Asa, whose right arm swelled a circle, pushed him down to a depth of 1 meter, and the surrounding area was cracked for 100 meters. Well, world, the voice is much quieter this time. Boom. There was still a loud shock. There are only 3 things, which are several times bigger than the previous 2 times. The crack spread out for 300 meters, walked out the door, and appeared at the feet of many pirates. Hello. Just now, was there an earthquake? Not only did the huge auction house shake, but the outside world also had aftermath. After half of world's body fell into the ground, he completely fell to the ground, and Haki dissipated and lost his strength. Yes, originally, gods blocked and killed gods, and Buddhas blocked and killed Buddhas. Even Linlin couldn't take down the super pirate in a short time. That's it. Asa pressed the ground with one hand and passed out. So, Asa glanced aside. Do you think the auction can continue? Seeing this, Stussy was too shocked to speak. No matter how strong her psychological quality is, she doesn't dare to talk indiscriminately. As for the rest of the hearts of the people, they coincidentally came up with an idea. So easy. Is World Destroyer a parallel import? Wrong. Everyone can see the power and influence. It is the power of Asa, it is too amazing. In this way, after showing their strength, no one dared to say anything. In addition to knowing the world, Captain, the invisible fish giant just grabbed a healing fruit. Seeing this scene, he shouted nervously. Not good. Captain World, mate Biojack. The 2 cadres who just broke in, Chinese medicine Ken Nakan, and Garam who is carrying a giant hammer, how could this be? Obviously, we just came in. They are all unbelievable. Invincible Captain, how could? People keep coming in. They are all at the core cadre level, armed with all kinds of dazzling weapons, and with their joining, the bosses in the field have gained some confidence. After all, no matter how strong Asa is, she will act recklessly. I also have to be scruples, there are so many people present, right? But they didn't expect that Asa really didn't care about it at all, or even ignored it. I bought all the items at the auction. Now. Except for the one who shot my little sister just now, the rest can all leave Area 0. Asa's words were flat, as if she was about to deal with the dishes. It's only for 1 minute. There was a moment of silence in the auction. Hey, hello. King Prudence, relying on the fist of the king, is about to finish charging, and he has more courage. Although you are very strong, you can't be so overbearing, right? Besides him, there are many people who really want to quit and don't want to wade into the muddy water. But, if you want them to leave Area 0 directly, can the scope of the slapstick be that big? Before thinking too much, a subordinate came in to report from outside the door. Every exit. I don't know why, they were all blocked by Marine. What about the port? The port is fine for the time being, but it can't be ruled out that there are warships on the way there. Those guys don't usually come, but today is special. Is it because of the auction? Quote. The crowd murmured, and finally their eyes fell on Asa. It seems to say, you heard it too. So, what does it matter to me? Asa said it. He pulled Uzumaki away, pulled out the dormant Zeus, and threw it to Linlin. You lazy sheep. I just fed it a fruit, and now I'm asleep, let's take it to rest first. Blockade. Isn't the port all right? And let's unite. With so many people, is it difficult to break through just a certain intersection? Linlin took it, needed it, and felt that Zeus's body was undergoing wonderful changes. What a glutton. She said, suddenly saw Stussy who was approaching before, took the initiative to back up, and then quickly evacuated. With her, and the staff of the auction house all retreated inside and took a special passage. Rayleigh, go. Well, you're leaving. That's not in your character. I would like to keep it, but he is obviously in a bad mood. Roger turned and left. Let's wait at the port first, let him settle his own affairs first, and then we can talk. Up to you. Rayleigh took a sip of his drink and took a deep look at Asa. It was almost half a minute, and 99% of the people almost didn't leave. So many people, how to solve it, very curious. Little sister. Asa said it again. You leave too. Do I really want to go? Linlin became a bitter face. What kind of moves, could it still hurt her? Asa saw her thoughts. Then I'll wait for you, brother. Linlin paused, and jumped to the roof with Zeus in his hand, bringing out a scent of fragrance. By the way, stop those auction guys. After all, she deliberately glanced at the CP0 captain, as if to say, also, anyone can leave, but this person can't. What are you all afraid of? There are so many people, and they are still powerful gangsters. No matter how strong he is. Could it be possible to solve it in one go? And with so many things in the auction, he is definitely going to take it all by himself. So I think it's better to kill him now. I am the master, I will give you a bounty, more than 1 billion. It was the captain of CP0 who spoke. I knew I couldn't leave, so I didn't even think about leaving. As many people as I can leave now, I can keep as many people as possible against Asa. The more the merrier. There are still things from the auction. Let's intercept them together later, and everyone can share them equally. How about it? Hold up for a while. Backup Admiral, also out there, is ready to shoot. There are still stronger ones to come, but the time is not certain. All the time. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to reap the benefits of being a fisherman when the people inside get tired? Go outside first, when the time comes, see the situation. Those who didn't leave glanced at CP0 and then at Asa. At first I thought he was joking. I don't think so anymore. Those who are not strong enough, quit. Each boss ordered. But it was only to exit to the gate of the auction. Then leave the strongest cadres here with the core members. This is also the case, the interior is quite empty. Asa, you are pervert, but what CP0 said is not unreasonable. As prominent figures, if you say go, everyone will go. Isn't it embarrassing? To know, all these people add up, even if they are placed in New World, they can shake their feet casually. There will also be a lot of wind and waves. Especially the underground predators, who are in charge of various businesses. Except for those few top pirates. Who do you still obey? So if you don't leave, I won't leave, causing everyone not to leave. Certainly, the key factor is, if we don't kill you who are the biggest threat, we won't be able to take advantage of it. Hey, let's cooperate. I have seen his strength, he can kill each of us in seconds, but it is impossible to kill so many of us in seconds. Send each of them a punch. Admiral may not be able to bear it. Indeed, let's give it a try. First let's say yes, that Logia's gas fruit is mine. I just want the treasure tree atom. I want that girl from the Lunaria family. Actually, the celestial dragons are half dead, and the world government will definitely send people. We just need to delay and let them fight them when the time comes. Let's grab the auction items. Good idea, ha 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 ha. Quote. People present. The Mafia boss, several underground predators, the green pepper of the cone, the king of protons, the captains of CP9 and CP0. Dozens of cadres. Live to get a share. Maybe it was just a fluke, thinking that the one who died should not be me, so they all stayed. In particular, seeing World with a mouthful of broken teeth struggling to stand up, they became more confident. One more. As for World being able to get up, Asa is not surprised, he didn't even use hockey. That move kills by the head. It means that the meaning of humiliation is more, and the actual harm is average. However, World felt that he had hurt himself a lot, and he was completely ashamed of his subordinates and the face of the dark forces. Lousy is going to kill you. Nachan, Garam, Sebastian. Stop Charlotte Linlin first. Wreck their ship. Today, I want to be with Charlotte Asa. Never die. World jumped into the sky, turned on the armed hockey, and got a scythe from nowhere. With both hands, start instilling fruit abilities crazily. At the port. In fact, there is no need for World to say that someone has already done that. A group of people directly burned the desert ship. As for the master, the Akoku pirates, of course. Pigeon ha 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 ha. God help me too. I didn't expect both of you brothers and sisters to come to the auction, so you can't blame me. Let's settle this old debt. Bros, get ready, they should be able to escape, and then we will ambush them. Send them the last ride. Apparently, Akoku had someone at the auction and got first-hand information. And the younger brothers and the cadres were also excited for a while. Shout out for joy. Get rid of the Charlotte brothers and sisters who were in the limelight. The Akoku pirates will undoubtedly become famous again. To this end, They, the Akoku pirates, specially invited several major newspapers on the island, and they are now waiting not far away. Record it. What a sight to come. Roger. Last time, I couldn't finish playing for hours. Somewhere near the port, Rayleigh walks. Thinking of Nine Snakes Island a few days ago, I feel helpless. There are more people this time. If I have to fight all day and midnight, I won't wait here with you. If it's too late. Roger put his hands on the back of his head, smiled and said, then let's talk. What they didn't know was that this time it would be a big surprise. Hold on. Scion Vice Admiral pointed at the phone bug and ordered, if Asa and Charlotte Linlin don't come out, shrink the encirclement. Receive. The lowest level of each gate is the Rear Admiral level of the headquarters. The main one is Asa. The rest of the evil forces, if they don't take the initiative to attack them, they won't care. And inwards, it is the lively number 0 area. At this moment, the central auction house is filled with almost 10,000 people. There are more and more ants. If you don't clean up carefully, it will be really difficult. Asa, say who is an ant. In this case, yes, you have capital and arrogance. But you can't take us lightly. As long as the quantity is large, sometimes qualitative changes can also occur. Gradually people moved away from him, forming a circle around him. In fact, in Asa's knowledge, the detected hostility and killing intent will only be more than what is revealed on the surface. But he didn't say a word. Close your eyes and open them again. Never mind. Although there are still 10 seconds, let's mention something. Start this. A banquet caused by greed. Asa took off her gloves, and under the tense eyes of everyone, she made a puzzling movement. See, he clasped his hands together. He made a special Buddha-like gesture, placed it in front of his chest, and grinned slightly at the corner of his mouth. The black mist lines on his body solidified in an instant, exuding an aura from fierce ancient times. Slowly spit out a few words. The field expands. Chef Fumo. As the magnetic sound fell, there was the sound of dripping water. A drop. In an instant, the billowing purple mist gushed out, and the red light in the mist turned into several fierce eyes that opened, carrying the aura of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood all over the audience. Also at this time, the giant auction house disappeared, replaced by a dark world. Where you stand, turned into a lake of the underworld. With extremely strong corrosiveness, people without hockey can't even last a second, and their legs are corroded to death. Under it disappeared. Only the lingering sound of screams remained. Besides, behind Asa, who finished printing, a huge pavilion suddenly lit up, or it was, the royal chef. Call. There were gusts of wind blowing, like the panting sound of some ferocious beast. Before the people at the auction felt cold, something creepy happened, and they saw around the courtyard. I don't know when. Pile of bones, skulls piled up. There are nuns, CP0, pirates, kings, and the old Admiral Silverwolf, densely packed, maybe even Asa herself. It's hard to tell who is who. How much devoured. Not only for humans here. There are also animal ones. On both sides of the imperial kitchen, there are many sheep heads with curved horns, as well as the heads of all kinds of strange creatures. Like some kind of ritual offering. This is above. Below the courtyard, there are also hundreds of meters of Sea King's bones buried, but outsiders can't see them, they can only see the direction in the field of vision. Unfortunately, it's enough to catch everyone's attention. Speak up, you are just incidental. I really want to kill someone else. Asa smiles. I don't care about the huge amount of physical strength consumed. Incidental. Asa, you, where is this place? What kind of ability? Gulu, calm down. It's probably just an illusion. Don't scare yourself. HMPH, indeed, we haven't seen anything. Quote. The men's feet hockey hardened to prevent the fall, and there was a sound of calm and courage one after another. But more, he looked at the adults around him timidly, the fall of the people around him just now, but it was real. Come on, cluck cluck, the guy who pretends to be a ghost. World leapt up, and the power he had already accumulated was burning at this moment. Even if this is hell, Lousy can still destroy it. Armed color. Momo 100 Sonic Slash. He is fully wrapped in hockey, and the Shinigami sickle he holds is enlarged by 100 times under the blessing of power, and the total length is hundreds of meters away. Not only the size, The speed also soared to 100 times. It turned into an afterimage and fell straight towards the courtyard. Really, I didn't expect that I would be affected too, but it's good. Ba Chong fist, let's become famous all over the world today. Not only the world. The cone of green pepper also rushed up to a height of 100 meters, roaring, breaking through the thick black fog, gathering the strength of the whole body. The extremely sharp cone head is both hockey hardened and hockey wound. Double stack. He has been strengthened at the epic level, so that even if it is a perennially frozen ice continent, he can still smash it away. Powerful, no doubt. 8-punch boxing mysteries cone dragon cone spike. One drop. With his hands clasped together, he flipped over and hit the cone head down crazily. Like that, a palm that fell from the sky. Green peppers at this stage are in their heyday. No one dares to underestimate it. Shish. A front top. One directly above. As the two of them used their ultimate moves, the eyes of the people below also widened. If you are hit, you will only be smashed to pieces, right? Even if it's Admiral, it's not easy to pick it up, so what should he? Haven't thought about it yet. Asa gave the answer, and as blood flashed across his eyes, the two attacking people became abnormal. To be precise, there is an abnormality in the surrounding area. The dark and hazy sky and the lake-like hell disappeared at this moment, and the auction venue once again occupied it. But the bones and Imperial Pavilion behind Asa are still there. Not only in, but also deeper, terrifying. It seems to have absorbed something. Jung, clang clang, tear rubbish, all of a sudden. 10 meters away with Asa as the center, everything began to shatter with the sound of slashing. It's the same even with World and Cone of Green Pepper. Zzz. The death scythe, which was several hundred meters away, made a metal clang as it fell, and a crack appeared on the blade immediately. Then brush over the world itself. Over the top. With the extremely powerful cone head, the momentum changed, and Qingjiao didn't even let out a scream. So he and his precious head turned into powder little by little. It's like a wind blade is sweeping. World is no exception. He was still in a daze before he died, and he didn't even have a chance to turn around. Yes, in less than 0.5 seconds, the two of them shattered and disappeared. Two strong men. He just died like that. And this is just the beginning. As the VIP seats shattered rapidly, turning into dust and flying away, many people reacted from the shock. All shouted out, "No, no, no. That's a slash. It's an overwhelming slash. The ceiling is gone, it's semicircular, and it's indiscriminate. Hurry up. Block their progress." Quote. The audience began to panic. Hastily resorted to various methods, but no matter what they did, they couldn't even delay for a second. All turned into dust. Step aside. Get out of the way. King Prudence has fully charged, and his single blow can destroy the enemy's fortress. Even Admiral can kill it. It must be broken now. Someone was yelling hard, "King's fist," and the king of his mouth. Although there was a trace of cold sweat on his forehead, he stepped forward bravely, stretched out his huge right hand, and slammed a blow forward. Boom! The ferocious shock wave swoops away. Then, gone. Yes, gone. This blow, the only record, is that he didn't see it right. Accidentally spread to innocent people in front. Also gone. King's fist. In fact, being able to kill Admiral has always been a rumor, because King Prudence has never fought against Admiral. Just like his descendants, they said that as long as they have enough power, they can kill the 4 emperors. But the real situation, it's just that he doesn't even know how strong the 4 emperors are. Is the king's fist useless? Anyway, at least give us some time to escape. No, wrong. We were wrong. Stop it. I can give you whatever you want. The auction item is yours too. Asa, Master Asa. You devil, devil, quote. From being frightened, to cheering up and resisting, to failure, and finally despair. A total of 2 or 3 seconds. At this moment, the CP9 elites, mafia bosses, and underground predators all regret it. Just, why not go? Why don't they leave? Go against this guy who doesn't know whether he is a human or a demon. If only I knew that Asa had this ability. If you give 10,000 courage, you dare not come. Ant, you are right, it is indeed no different from ants. Ah, the sound of slashing is still going on. Here, all beings are equal. Celestial dragons can't escape either. Inside the auction house. Time seems long, but it is actually very short, so there is no time to escape. And there was one person who seized the opportunity to slip away. Precisely. It was the moment Asa opened the domain, that person sensed something was wrong, and directly burned all the power of the saber-toothed tiger. Transformed into an orc form, and ran out. However, what he doesn't know is, the self is always in the field. The moment he escaped from the auction venue, the tiger's body also began to disintegrate. In front of tens of thousands of people outside. Hey, I can't finish it yet. Charlotte Asa, world government. The captain of CP0 stretched out a hand, and the last words could not be uttered after all. He understands. Why did Asa let Charlotte Linlin leave first? Thus, the 3 people who traded with the nun back then, including him, all died. Hello. Why is there no sound in there? How do I know? The fight hasn't started yet. But it's too quiet. Wait, I think I heard a scream. A second ago. As soon as people outside the auction became suspicious, they saw that the entire auction suddenly began to fall apart. Then a saber-toothed tiger ran out. So fast, people at their level can't react at all. Then it disappeared with the saber-toothed tiger. Tens of thousands of people, without exception. Starting from a radius of 100 meters, to 300 meters, to 500 meters. Even if the kilometer has not stopped. While internally, all classes, and thus various black trading activities, and those who exercise in bed are all included. The death toll in the dark zone is increasing rapidly. Not even humans, animals, shops, buildings, and even giant red giant trees cannot escape. Full screen, smash. Hovering hundreds of meters above, a super large black pterosaur stared down. The strange phenomenon of the disappearance of large areas. In a daze, the scalp is slightly numb. What? He is alternate admiral. At the same time, it is also an ability user in the form of the ancient species, dragon fruit, pteranodon. Wait here and catch Asa. He has always liked to interrogate and abuse prisoners. After learning that the Charlotte brothers and sisters killed the teacher. I swear to repay this revenge. It just so happened that I was in Sabayati today, and came here as soon as I heard the news. Just now. Seems like something amazing. What happened? Suddenly, there was a warning sign in his heart, and he quickly transformed into a human and beast form, holding 2 knives. Twine. Hardening. Internal destruction. Add everything you can. Unleash your full strength as a great swordsman with 2 swords. Chop hard. Clang. There was a bang. A large piece of cremation shook out, extremely dazzling. But he was not happy, because the double knives were bounced off, and the tiger's mouth was numb. In contrast, the whole body up and down. There were metal sounds, and the invisible slashes covered him like a spider's web. Cut endlessly as long as you are alive. Consuming his hockey like crazy. Who is it? After a while, the hardened skin on the face of this admiral candidate quickly lost its color. The double knives, which are harder than steel, have long since turned into metal shavings. Impossible. You can do this without showing up. It is impossible for such a person to exist. Before he could think clearly, hockey suddenly scattered, and his bloody mouth burst open. At last, the alternate admiral didn't even know his opponent, so he was hanged in midair. 10 seconds. This alternate admiral is also the one who lasted the longest. Certainly, if he was willing to change the way and choose to escape in the air, maybe he could die later. Yes, within a certain range, not only the land will be affected, but also the sky will be covered. The area is about a semicircle. Open field. It is at the cost of having a chance to escape and not trapping the target object, so as to obtain the sure hit effect of a wider distance. That's right, it's a must. No matter how knowledgeable you are, within the scope, there is only one way to confront them head-on. As for the island of 9 snakes, it was because Asa hadn't fully mastered this trick yet, plus other reasons, so he didn't kill the old admiral as soon as possible. It's different now. Too much mess. It's most convenient to have this, don't you want to block it? Then kill them all. Covers all places in Area 0, without dead ends. Everything in it. It's all fish on the chopping board, and Asa is the chef. Also a swordsman, with 2 knives. Solution, and 8. The ordinary slash that can be solved can perform endless slashes on non-biological objects in the range. Boss 1-hit kill, for the strong hockey within the range, it will adjust the strength of the slash according to the strength of the opponent. Until you kill each other. In other words, look to the sky. Everything. Hockey content is lower than Asa, unless it has a special fruit ability, otherwise it is all vegetables. Hello. No, I can't get in touch. This kid. It's clear that it was still connected just now, but I don't know what's going on now. With him here, we can delay some time. Wait for the follow-up reinforcements to arrive. Etc. His life card. How could it burn so fast? Impossible, it's only a few seconds. Quote. Sanctuary Mariajoy, meeting room. The minds of several high-level Marine executives went blank for a moment, and their faces were a little pale. Sabayati land, who can take out backup admiral in such a short time? The edge of Area 0. Roger and Rayleigh, who were walking side by side, suddenly stopped and turned around suddenly, sensing the disappearance of a large piece of life. The speed is so fast, like a super-killing machine, it is pushing over. Let's go. Roger's eyes narrowed slightly, and the moment he whispered, Rayleigh also reacted. Immediately, the two turned into a stream of light and flashed out, so fast that no one even noticed when they passed through the Marine defense line. Probably Ben was on the edge, so he escaped unharmed. What happened? Is that sword skill? Great swordsman. Or? I don't know, but I can be sure that he did it alone, and only his breath is still inside. Quote. Noticing that they were out of danger, the two landed on a piece of grass. All living things, all non-biological organisms are spared. This ability, it's real clearing. So last time, did he retain his strength? Roger. Silence for a while. Rayleigh looked at the man in the straw hat beside him. If you didn't come out just now, can you stop it? The air was silent for a while. Immediately, Roger gritted his teeth and hooked him up again. Who is right to say that? But I'm very excited. There is a guy beyond imagination in this sea. That old admiral died unjustly. Another place. Stussy and the auctioneer run out of the underpass. The surrounding Marines saw them and ignored them. Okay, are you colluding with Marine? Seeing this scene, Linlin, who was catching up, did not hesitate, and directly slashed down with a knife. With a bang, there was a long hole in the ground. She's been in no man's land since the Marine line, and no one can stop her. Stop, Charlotte Linlin. In a few days, we will send the things you photographed to the designated place. Language fall. Don't even say. Linlin really stopped. But it's not because of their words, but because of the mutation that happened in Area 0. Is it going to change completely? Gradually, the people at the auction also noticed the movement. The bottom of my heart is full of surprises. Fortunately, he withdrew decisively. If he hesitated a little, he would be finished. Ziz. Sudden. On Linlin. Zeus, who fell asleep after eating the fruit, suddenly changed, and bursts of lightning flashed. Then, as if attracted, he took the initiative to break away from Linlin's palm. Soar forward. Zeus, come back soon. Seeing Zeus being disobedient for the first time, Linlin quickly puffed up his cheeks, wanting to chase after him. Pity. Too fast. Even she couldn't catch up, and the other two homits were also stunned at the moment. Is Zeus going to rebel? How can this speed and momentum be so much stronger than before? Master Asa, what did you feed it? Wait, if it goes in rashly now, it will be broken into pieces, right? Hello, I'm not kidding. Marine main channel entrance. Scion Vice Admiral looked ahead. It was like a super locust passing through the mirror, and the Area 0 was quickly bare. Can't help swallowing. Not only him. The rest of the garrison, seeing the power, kept retreating. Someone stepped on a stone and tripped, but they didn't react. Quick, give it to that. Quickly contact that alternate Mr. Admiral. Report. Scion Vice Admiral. Can't reach. Scion Vice Admiral was sweating profusely and almost gave the order to retreat. While flustered, there was also a tinge of rejoicing in his heart, glad he didn't step into Area 0. Otherwise the consequences, it will be the same as the people inside. Just a moment, the biggest tumor on the ground in Sabayati, Area 0 that even Marines dare not enter easily, such a behemoth. That's it, Vice Admiral, us. If Charlotte Asa doesn't come out, will the encirclement still shrink? Fool, Did I give such an order? This time, it will definitely be big news. Hold on. It should start soon. Outside the port of Area Zero. Several news ships parked here, and the people on them were filming from different angles. Even the sea has people. Open the precious video phone bug in advance to record. In fact, these were all ordered by Akoku. Be sure to record his net Poseidon heroic appearance. However, considering that the area affected by the battle may be relatively large, let the news ship drive a little farther to ensure safety. Make sure to record. Boss, everything is in place. At the port, the subordinates will report in time. Pigeon ha 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 ha. Good. Walk in with me and see what's going on. Akoku puts on a cloak. In the field of vision of several video cameras, he started to take a step forward, but his body became stiff within a few steps. The laughter also stopped abruptly. Then, several blood lines burst out from his body. The whole person made a shrill sound. This is still him, replaced by someone else. No, there is no one else. Because the subordinates around him were cut into dust in an instant. What the hell are these things? Akoku lasted for a while, but his armed color attainment was very high, even higher than the alternate admiral. But in the end I still didn't want to be tough. The fruit ability was activated directly. Instant. A growl. Just when the people on the news ship thought that Akoku would make some big moves, they saw him suddenly disappear. Immediately afterwards, then he drifted to his main ship, took the hull and the crew and cadres on it, and disappeared in a hurry. Seem is to escape. The reporters who recorded the entire process were all stunned. Didn't you say yes, there will be a big fight? What the hell? A person with the ability to teleport fruit. He dragged his family along and ran away. He's smarter than expected. Zone 0. In the blank center, Asa becomes a black hole, devouring all the surrounding energy factors. Those people, fruit ability after death, neither can escape his gluttonous attraction. Also the huge amount of physical strength that was just consumed was replenished within a few breaths. Not only that, there are also indirect gains, like dead underground predators. Their death also means that they will make room. The little friends of the Lamb House can find a way to rise to the top. If they can control those big business lines, it will still be of great help to Asa. What fruit do you want to find in the future? In a word, efficiency can be increased 100-fold. Akoku. Even if it is about to be scrapped and replaced with a new one, no one can destroy my ship. Release domain. Asa straddled to a high ground outside Area Zero, ignoring Scion Vice Admiral below and the trembling Marine soldiers. Reach out. There was a roar in the distance. Not for a while. Zeus, flashing blue light, gallops over. Among the many surprised eyes, it floated to Asa's palm. Master Asa. Zeus opened his eyes wide. So you called me. Mom is dying of anxiety. On Sky Island, the moment Asa entered the mirror, Zeus was so greedy that he accidentally swallowed the thunder fruit. Maybe for humans, it's hard to eat. But it is too delicious for it, 10,000 times more beautiful than thundercloud bubbles. And itself. There were also strange changes, and the power of thunder in the past began to change rapidly. Refining. Developed strongly in an uncontrollable direction. And fell asleep. During the period, it also vaguely heard Mr. Asa telling his mother that he fed it. It's not because I'm greedy. Maybe for Asa, it was just a casual sentence. But this kindness, Zeus kept it in mind. Because if the mother knows that it is greedy, it will inevitably be beaten and scolded. Not to mention eating it yourself. Then it swears. If Lord Asa is in trouble in the future, it will be Zeus in trouble. Then, it was inexplicably awakened and attracted here. After learning that it was Asa, Zeus also cooperated very much. Master Asa. Originally Zeus wanted to be grateful, but unexpectedly his mouth was covered by Asa, and the elemental body was also needed. In a burst of apprehension. Less than a second, then it became a domineering and mighty crossbow. Your breath is unstable, haven't you finished digesting the thunder fruit yet? Never mind, rivet your strength first. Asa wraps Haki around Zeus, holds the bow in the left hand, and pulls the bow in the right hand, and the invisible bursting electricity gathers rapidly. Actually, Zeus was also surprised when he swallowed the thunder fruit. Certainly, Asa had a similar thought. But before it could be implemented, it was interrupted by the auction. Zeus also happened to swallow it, which saved him trouble. As for the Zeus situation, it looks good so far. Thunderfruit has a great potential, and Zeus is born to control minds, so it has good power. A fusion of both. The qualitative changes produced may be incalculable, but it will take some time. At the same time, with the bow and crossbow drawn around Asa, a series of substantial thick thunder began to spread around. The strength of Lei Mang let countless people below throb. ZZZ. 10 million volts, 30 million volts, 60 million volts, 100 million volts. At this moment, Zeus has begun to change, becoming the ultimate blue. Start to extend towards purple. This has been initially achieved, the power of lightning in nature. Asa was also slightly taken aback. Unexpectedly, Zeus hadn't fully digested and developed it yet, and the voltage was already so strong. In time. Interesting. After tightening to ultimate, Asa's eyes flashed, and she let go of the thunder string. Boom. As the roar sounded, Zeus released the high pressure, and the condensed super arrows also shot out instantly. 200 million volts. Chasing the light. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.